Hi, this is Casey from Casey Grandpa Tech, where your geeky grandpa talks tech, tech solutions, and tech more. Listen, I want to talk to you about moving. Recently, we moved to Florida, and I want to help prevent you from having some of the headaches and some of the things that we went through, and give you some solutions to prevent you from going through the things that we had. So this is going to be a multi-part series where I'm going to be starting with moving and shipping and all of this stuff of moving your stuff, and then we're going to go on. So before we get started, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. So anyway, a lot of people now, of course, unfortunately, because of the economy, have decided to move south and to Florida, South Carolina, and such like that. And so basically you need to make a decision on what type of moving are you going to do. And of course, one of the first things you have to decide is, am I going to move myself, or are you going to have a mover move me? We chose to have a mover pick up the boxes and bring them down. Now, there's three options with that. Of course, you can box it yourself or have them box you. Or you can have what's called a pod. And you load everything on the pod, and they pick up the pod, bring it down to where you are, and you unload it yourself. Now, excuse me, because we're older and I'm not able to pick up the things like I used to, we had done that. But a lot of people are also choosing to rent a truck and move it down themselves. Now, that leads into a lot of other problems. And we'll get into that in another series, but I'm going to talk to you about what things you should be looking out for. The first thing is, of course, you're going to look for your mover. And don't choose the first Google search you get. Whatever state you're moving to, go into that state's directory and get a mover that is interstate and have them pick it up. If you don't, you're going to be paying a lot more. We got an estimate. We calculated how much we were going to have, how much stuff we were going to have, and when the truckers arrived, they had another $2,000-3,000 onto the load. It did, because they said that it was an underestimated load. The other thing you're going to have to look out for is don't taking everything with you. You know, we collect a lot of things over the time that we live where we live. You know, knickknacks, paddywhacks, and give a dog a bone, pictures, furniture. And so the decision has to be made. They're going to charge you per cubic foot. So the more stuff you have, the more they're going to charge you. And you have to decide, is it going to cost me more to move it, or to replace it? So if you have an item that's old, an old stereo, an old TV, and it's going to cost you more to move it than it's going to cost you to replace it when you get down there, donate it, get rid of it. We donated approximately about 60% of the stuff we had, and still the move cost us almost $8,000, which was quite a bit of expense. The other thing you have to also do, and most importantly, is they're going to ask you whether you want insurance. Okay, and you say yes, but they have multiple options. And we'll discuss that in a second. The other thing is, as you're boxing, okay, you need to keep a running list of each box. The other thing you'll need to do is number your boxes. Everybody writes kitchen, garage, and things like that. But what about numbering the boxes? What you'll notice is what they do is when they come in, at least mine did, is he had a whole sticker list. Like we said 60 boxes, and they put stickers on it, and it listed your contract number and box number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, great. You need to put your own numbers on it. Because when we got our boxes, right, and they're coming off the truck, It was raining. So what they did is they put everything into the garage. And then from there, they took the furniture out of the garage and put it into the rooms and set it up. Now, that was fine. But the problem was that little yellow sticker, I couldn't see it. And it was 8 o'clock at night. Now, after they left, one thing you're going to find out is that they're going to ask you, did you get everything? And you don't know. But if you have numbers on the boxes, on 3 sides at least, and you're saying, okay, box 1 came, box 2 came, box 3 came, box 4 came, and you all of a sudden at the very end of the shipment, and you get the boxes, you say, well, wait a minute, box 11, box 22 is missing. Where is it? And because that's an insurance claim, okay? They didn't deliver everything. And if the boxes are heavy, the other thing you have to worry about, the box is tearing. Because they're not going to be very nice. Because as they're loading it on the truck, they're shoving it into the corner. And then they pack every single inch all the way to the top of the truck. And if that box is heavy, it'll tear. And things will fall out of the box. Or it might get dropped because it's heavy. So these are things you need to look out for while you're doing it. Another thing you need to look out for is if you're having your company ship it, when will they deliver it? What I didn't know is that there's an interstate rule that they have 21 days to deliver your furniture or whatever you're shipping. Not like UPS and not like other companies. So you'll have it picked up on the moving day. They will bring it to a central point of shipment. And then they're going to load it on a larger truck, which might have 5 or 6 other loads on it, and bring it down. And unless they have a particular, and because so many people are moving, a lot of trucks are full. We had it picked up, and it took 20 days before they delivered it. And we were the last one. Now, the other thing you have to look out for, and I said, is you need to look at the insurance. There are basically 2 types of insurance that you're going to find on most movers. One is total replacement. They lose the box, you're insured, you get money for that box. They damage a stereo, they have to replace the stereo. But the other one, and that's the option that I didn't see until after they had loaded my truck, is they were going to give me 60 cents per pound. So if you have $1,000 stereo and it gets broken and it weighs 3 pounds, guess what? You're going to get $1.80, not $1,000. We didn't know that. We got reamed by that, okay? Because we had three boxes that didn't show up, and those were very valuable items. And I won't get into what was missing, but you get the idea. Now, in our particular case, we used Express Moving, which is basically a subcontractor who would then contracts to another vendor. Now, the things you have to look out for, of course, is, when they load the truck and everything, did you underestimate? Because they're going to tell you underestimated. No matter what you did. You said, I got 60 boxes that are this size and 60 boxes by that size. And then they're going to say, well, the furniture is bigger than you said there was. It's a bedroom set. Well, no. They're going to hit you with fees. So you got to look at that. So that's some of the things that you have to look out for with moving. The other thing I would recommend is put trackers on it. They have the Apple trackers like that, and you can put them in the furniture. Put 2 on each box. Put 2 in the load. So this way you know where your stuff is. The other thing is, like I said, number the boxes, so you know as they come off the truck what came, what isn't, what didn't come. And the other thing you want to do is write the address of where it's going, so that if it does get mixed up, there's a possibility it could be found. Now, don't ship extremely valuable items, because I'll tell you right now, if that's the box and you're getting 60 cents per pound and you happen to put your jewelry box or a computer in there, yeah, You could end up not getting it back and not being reimbursed for it. So those are just some of the things of moving, having a mover move you. Now, a lot of you probably have maybe have two cars. You're deciding, well, maybe I'll have one car shipped and one car I'll drive down. And that's what we did. And we contracted with a company who would pick up the car, drive it down, put it on a carrier and bring it down. And that worked out fine. We had no issues with that at all. They came on the day that they said they were going to come. They loaded the truck with other cars. And then once we got down to Florida and we had arrived, the driver called us and said, hey, I have your car. When do you want me to drop it off? And that was great. But I overpaid. And I'll tell you why. You can find a lot of the ones you're going to find on Google and when you do your search are vendors. They use many truckers, many companies to move it. And they find a mover that's going to be in your area, a car carrier, and brings it down. But they charge a fee for that. So in our case, we would charge almost $1,000 to move the car. And what I found out is that I could have contracted with the carrier myself for $600. Now, how you could do that is you go onto the local state directories and look for movers, look for car movers and things like that. The other thing we had also looked at it moving the car was to move it by Amtrak. We thought about, well, we'll have the car loaded onto the Amtrak train, stay on the train with the car, and when we get down, we'll get the car off the car and do that. First thing, it's very expensive. It's not just the carrier, it's about $1,000 per car. And the other thing is they don't have outlets where you can pick up the car anywhere. So when you go and have your car dropped off, they're going to load it on the train, and then you have to wait for your car to be unloaded. You're going to lose half a day to a day just doing that. So it's a nice idea. Consider it, but just realize we lived in New Jersey. We'd have to drive it down to Virginia, have it loaded on the train, ride the train down to Florida, wait for our car to be unloaded, and then drive it the rest of the way. So these are things you have to consider when you're doing this. Now, just again, this is talking about moving. If you decide to move yourself and you're going to rent a U-Haul or Ryder or whatever truck you're going to ride, right now, the amount of theft of these trucks is extremely high. And a lot of families have discovered they drive down and they get to a certain point, they go to a hotel, they sleep at night, and they come out in the morning and the truck is gone. And eventually the truck is found and they go through all the boxes and throw everything on the floor with the truck is there. That you'll recover some of your items. So what I'm recommending with those people is these trucks are very easy to hijack. So you can buy what they're basically a bar. They lock the steering wheel and they're long on the other side. And you put them on the steering wheel and lock the truck steering wheel. It goes down. It just adds an extra level of security. You know, there are 3 trucks in the parking lot. They usually would go to the one that's the biggest to get the most money out of it. But if they find it's hard to get that thing off, what they will do is go to the next truck and steal that one. So I recommend you get yourself one of these steering wheel lock bars, put it on the U-Haul truck, Ryder truck, whatever it is you're using, and do that. Now, if you're using one of these pods where they're going to take your stuff down, be sure you have a lock on the pod, because during the process of it being transported down, that driver is going to stop somewhere and rest, because they can only run so many hours. And those pods have been known to be opened and stuff stolen out of it. So these are some of the things you should look out for. This is just about moving today, just about shipping your stuff. I hope this has been useful for you. I'm going to be doing another video on other things to look out for when you're moving, that you may not be aware of. Okay, so this is Casey from Casey Grandpa Tech. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back with some more stuff about tech, moving, all of that next time. You have a great day.